Welcome to not just the best Safi'jiiva build, but the best build in Monster Hunter. A build so perfect that words and sounds are appearing as I describe it in the intro.
Hello my fellow hunters. Today then I have something to share with you that is honestly quite special. It's a dual blades build that has just the perfect blends of skills for something just game breaking. So it is a critical draw build because dual blades have one of the strongest draw attacks in the game. In fact, using this build you can kill an Aptinoff in just 4 draw attacks, which is fantastic for farming meat. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because the question is, why use this build? Well, apart from farming meat, and it is very good at farming meat, you will just break the game using this build. Nothing will be able to stand against you. You are just a god, and honestly, I'd get it going before it gets patched out, or at the very least, nerfed. So the actual base build then is as follows. We want our 3-pieced Safi'jiiva, we want our basil gloves, and of course, we want our Valhazak legs. Now, the effluvium resistance is great for when you're hunting everywhere, because you never know when effluvium might strike, so it's always good to be careful. Now, we're using the Adamantine Charm because we're going to go with poison dual blades. This lets us dye our armor purple to match, and in nature, bright colors often mean scary or poisonous and causes predators to be wary. So this is fantastic because it makes monsters nervous around us and gives us an easier time at actually slaying them. And as poison is a status and not an element, we can use non-elemental boost. Now, the Safi weapon is important because it gives us an extra slot because we want that for some reason, as well as 3, 4, 5 sharpness. Now, it's important that you can count upwards because that is pleasant. Then, we combo that huge amount of natural purple with bludgeoner. So, eventually as the hunt goes on, our damage is gonna go up. But we don't want to activate it too early, obviously. So without further ado, let's fill this out with decorations. Though actually, a bit more further ado. As you can see, this build is really doing well against one of the hardest monsters in the whole of Iceborne, the Great Jagras, and it's proving that even this guy is actually soloable if you use something as just quite frankly busted as this. I mean, if you have your timings correctly, you can even do something that's known as a pro gamer move. And dodge his most deadly attack. So, back to the set then, let's actually fill it out with decorations and see what we end up working with, because it's quite special. Now, we do end up with 3 ranks, of course, of tool maintenance, and this is perfect because it allows us to use our non-existent mantles absolutely none of the time, and this works out because we don't want to be relying on mantles because we ain't a bitch. Now, as we go down the skills then, we have 1 rank of heroics. So, this works really well because of the recovery up, the health augment that we want on this, and the healing from Safi'jiiva, making sure that it never triggers. Because, of course, you never want to be the hero. If a situation goes dire, you just want to get help. The 1 rank of Elder Seal boost comes into play really handily because it stops creatures like the Great Jagras from ascending into their ultimate form. It keeps their inner power locked away and makes the hunt actually doable. Effluvium resistance is filled out as it needs to be because, again, you never know when effluvium might strike. Now, dual blades don't use a lot of stamina, so we've put in maximum might here so we get more than 100% crit on our draw attacks, because more than 100% crit looks really cool. And what maximum might really does for this build as well then is sometimes activate. Then, resentment. Now, we will be healing constantly with this, so resentment is there. Finally, the pièce de résistance is blight resistance, because we've managed to put in a little sneaky extra bit of coalescence. using the 3 blight resistance we managed to somehow fit into this already just insane setup, what we'll find is that it just doesn't activate. So all of this combines together to completely counteract each other and achieve essentially nothing. And this is the ultimate tactic, because it proves to every monster that you are undoubtedly, without a shadow of a fact, the most confident hunter to ever walk the earth. And every single one of them will just fall over dead rather than try and face your absolutely massive balls. And this is before we even talk the set bonuses. Safi giving us even more crit, which is good, because crit is good. And then the 2 set Val completed on the weapon, of course, is excellent for combining with resentment and heroics. Really sets them off even more than they already are. And we don't need health up or anything like that, because we're too good at the game while using this. So there you go, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this. What I think might actually be my best build I've ever theory crafted and put before you. It was a pleasure to use my Dracolite in this way. And I strongly encourage you to give it a go before you can't anymore, because again, there's no way Capcom lets this stand, because it makes the game unfun. It's too good not to use, but it makes everything boring, because it just dies and you barely have to put in any effort. So yeah, that's my little secret for you guys. And because this hunt I actually managed to kill the Jagras in an amount of time, it's the world speedrun record, and I was playing a bit sloppily. I was just carried by the build, so really there's a lot of potential here. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. What am I doing with my life?
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you, even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on, and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.